Thank you all for coming today. After the Declaration of Independence was signed, Virginia statesman John Page wrote to Thomas Jefferson, "We know the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong. Do you not think an angel rides the whirlwind and directs this storm?" Elections have consequences. Moreover, election rhetoric has consequences. I have a wife and 2 little girls, and my job is to take care of my family. So when people make it an election issue to ruin your job, take your job and ruin your life, I have to take them at their word. Before the election, I put out a headhunter called me, as sometimes they do, and inquired about the Ottawa County administrator position. They were seeking a new administrator. The position pays $250,000 a year with an immediate 12-month severance of $250,000. So it's about a $500,000 proposition to be the Ottawa County administrator. Not knowing the outcome of what our election is, which we now know, we have an excellent mayor, Mayor Ashford, and we have a strong and stable city council, which I'm grateful for. I want to thank the electorate, the residents of Port Huron, for rejecting the divisive rhetoric that was in the last election. I took the interview in Ottawa County because it is a premier county. It's one of the top positions within my profession. So within my profession, it is one of the premier positions in the state of Michigan. And I was an honor to be selected. I went and did the interview. It was a beautiful campus, a beautiful city. They were wonderful people. There's nothing bad I can say about Ottawa County. It was honestly just a beautiful place and a wonderful place. But we got in the car that night, and we just wanted to go home to Port Huron. And we got to Port Huron, and it was a big relief when we were here. And the next day, I was at the Vintage, actually, with a few folks. And the chairman of the board called me and essentially said, "You're moving on in the process. It'll be announced tomorrow." And we began talking about where I can enroll my kids in school and where I can buy a house and how fast I can get to Ottawa County, because they wanted me to start pretty quick. That's when things got real. Jesse and I were sitting in the car the other night, and the conversation was, what are we doing? We're already home. This is the place that we love. This is the place that we want our 2 little girls to grow up in. We often talk about Port Huron being a community of choice. Those are not stale talking points. That's truly what we believe. This is the greatest place to live, to raise a family. Ottawa County was beautiful, but they didn't have the St. Clair River. And they didn't have our sunrises, and they didn't have the beaches, and they didn't have the vibrant downtown. They didn't have all the cool shops and the plaza. It just didn't have what Port Huron has. I've been a municipal executive for more than 17 years. 11 of those years have been serving my current role as city manager. These years have brought moments I could not foresee and will not forget. My tenure in Port Huron has been marked by remarkable challenges: unfunded liabilities, economic change, budgetary constraints. But they've also been marked by a community working together to overcome those challenges. I think about all the collaborators and the stakeholders, Blue Meets Green, the business executives, the education, the nonprofits, all working together to really overcome just remarkable challenges. But during that struggle, one of which our shared future was to be shaped, I believe that an irrevocable bond has been forged between the residents of Port Huron and my heart. I truly love the people here. Our hopes and dreams for our families and our futures are now and forever interwoven by time together and my love for this community. Here in Port Huron, we are home. This is where we want to raise our 2 little girls. And no raise, no matter how much money or promotion, can change that fact. And I believe that God has placed us here for just such a time as this, in this moment in time. The citizens of Port Huron are generous, loving, strong, and decent. Not because we believe in ourselves, but because we hold beliefs beyond ourselves. When this spirit of citizenship is missing, no government program can replace it. And when this spirit is present, no wrong can stand against it. Our important work continues, and this story goes on, and I do believe an angel rides whirlwind and directs this storm. I apologize for the inconvenience of the last week in the sideshow, but on behalf of my wife, Jessie, and our 2 little girls, we are thankful to be home, and we are staying home. Thank you. Does anyone have a question? Jonathan, you got a question?
Yeah, you mentioned political report from the election.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? Was that about you, policy, what exactly?
Yeah, so, I've been doing this for 17 years, 11 years here in the city of Port Huron. I'm not out running a public relations campaign. My focus is on making good policy decisions and good recommendations to the mayor and council. Port Huron is thriving because of the difficult decisions that we made. We address unfunded liabilities, we adjust budget issues. They were not easy. People didn't like what we had to do, but it had to be done. And now we are seeing the fruits of that labor. But it is easy to take a difficult but necessary decision and turn it into political fodder. Whether that be adjusting our budget, whether that be adjusting our unfunded liabilities, whether it be some of the economic development risks we've had to take, which have paid off. It is easy to make things political fodder. But the citizens of Port Huron, like always, have rejected that and elected sound, competent, and stable leadership. We have a great mayor and council. We have a very knowledgeable mayor and council. Anita Ashford has more than 30 years of municipal experience in the state of Michigan. We have council members who've been on now for more than 15 years who understand what we have gone through, the hard work that has been done to get us here, and recognize that we can't go backwards. So onward, I think there's some major challenges we have to address. Workforce housing and affordable housing is the #1 issue facing the city of Port Huron. We have so many jobs that need to be filled, but we do not have the workers to fill them because we don't have the homes to put them in. And if we do have homes available, they're financially out of reach for most of our residents. And so how do we work with the state of Michigan? How do we work with philanthropy and private investors to address that huge hurdle? And it's not just a Port Huron issue, it's an entire state of Michigan issue. That's what I'm focused on. Anyone else?
Change would not only say big change within the city government, but you also do for the county government. Can you address how those changes, how you see that affecting anything?
I think the county is in a good position as well. I think they have stable leadership. I think we have created over the last decade, we have created a culture of expectation of collaboration. Meaning any players who come to the table and want to divide this community or be divisive, I just don't think they're going to find a welcoming environment within the leadership throughout the county, whether it be in private sector or government. And so I think the hard work, especially if Blue meets Green, is developing the culture of expectations that people will work together. So now when there's a major issue that we have to face is the expectation that we're going to work together. It is not like that in other communities. In other communities, when a big challenge arises, there are political factions who look at how to exploit the moment, how to exploit that challenge for political gain. That is not what goes on here in St. Clair County. And that's why we're outperforming the national average. If you look at the city of Port Huron, our poverty rate has dropped every year for the last 8 years. But we're dropping at a faster rate than the national average. We're exceeding that. So why is that? Why is our unemployment rate dropping faster than the statewide average? And why has it stayed below the statewide average? Those are all things I think are a testament to the collaboration of the county, private enterprise, the city, all working together. But it's the culture of expectation. All right, folks, we got work to do. That's it. Thank you.